Who is this actually good for? Who should skip it? And is it worth the price for normal, everyday buyers? If you're the kind of person who drags a sub around gig bags, sets up a DJ booth in a hotel room, or needs a low-frequency punch for a small venue band, keep listening. If you're hoping a tiny box will replace a full-size concert sub in a theater, you might want to look elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first saw the QSC KS112, the first thing that struck me was the promise of ultra-compact with a professional appearance. That promise matters because a lot of active subs either look like a piece of industrial equipment or hide a huge footprint that makes staging a nightmare. The KS112 actually fits inside a typical speaker rack or can sit on a small speaker stand without stealing the whole stage. For anyone who's set up a mobile PA system, think church outreach teams, wedding DJs, or street performers, the size alone feels like a win. The real test, though, is what happens after you plug it in and try to make the bass work for the music you actually play. The 12-inch driver lives inside a birch-ply cabinet that QSC markets as premium and long-life. In practice, that translates to a sub that doesn't wobble when you crank it up at a house party. The 2M 20-threaded pole receptacles on the front let you lock it down to a metal pole or a sturdy stand, and they stay tight even if the venue's floor vibrates. I've used that feature at a community center where the floor is concrete and the sub is bolted to a portable truss. It never drifted, which saved me from worrying about the low frequencies slipping out of phase with the mains. What makes the KS112 a bit different from other compact subs is the built-in intrinsic correction tuning. QSC built a small DSP that automatically equalizes the driver for the cabinet's dimensions. The result is a smoother roll-off and less boomy sound when you push the gain. In a real-world scenario, say you're backing a folk band that mixes acoustic guitars, a mandolin, and a vocalist, the sub adds just enough depth to the kick drum without overwhelming the strings. It feels like the system was tuned for the space, not like you have to spend an afternoon tweaking a parametric EQ. Now, the strengths are clear: portability, sturdy mounting, and an internal correction that reduces the need for external EQ work. For a traveling DJ who wants to drop a sub into a rented venue and get reliable bass in 10 minutes, those are exactly the things that matter. The optional KSLOC security cover is another small but handy addition. If you ever leave your gear unattended backstage or in a shared rehearsal space, you can lock the controls so nobody accidentally changes the level. That's a practical detail that many subwoofers ignore. On the flip side, the KS112's compactness does come with trade-offs you need to be aware of before you spend the money. The 12-inch driver, while well-designed, can't move the same volume of air as a 15 or 18-inch unit. In a crowded club with a heavy EDM set, you'll notice the low end tapers off sooner than you'd expect from a larger sub. That isn't a flaw, it's just physics. But it means the KS112 shines brightest in venues that seat a few hundred at most, or in applications where the bass is more about adding depth than delivering floor-shaking impact. Another hidden cost is the power requirement. The KS112 is an active unit, so you need a reliable AC source or a clean inverter if you're running it off a generator. I've run into a situation where a small event space only had a 120-volt circuit that was already loaded with lighting gear. The sub drew enough current that the lights flickered when the bass hit its peaks. The solution was to use a dedicated circuit or a higher capacity generator, which adds a layer of planning you might not think about until the day of the show. If you're a home theater enthusiast looking to add a sub to a living room setup, the KS112 can work, but you'll have to accept that it won't deliver the thunderous boom of a larger, dedicated home theater sub. It's better suited for a desktop or a small media room where space is at a premium and you value a clean, tight low end for movies and games. In that context, the built-in DSP actually helps because it compensates for room modes in a modest space, giving you a smoother bass response without having to dive into a software equalizer. So, who should buy the QSC KS112? If you're a gigging musician, a DJ who moves between venues, a church audio volunteer who needs a sub that can be set up and torn down quickly, or a small venue sound engineer who wants a reliable, low-maintenance bass source, this sub fits your checklist. You'll appreciate the birch cabinet's durability, the secure mounting points, and the fact that you can leave the DSP settings.